Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashley,
And I'm Janine.
and this is
Deep
Deep Dive
Dive
Fridays.
Fridays!
Woo!
Hey, everybody. We had such a great video that last deep dive.
Right. We're glad everybody
Yep.
enjoyed it, had a really good reception, which is
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah, we just had to look at the lizard
Oh, of
queen.
course, it was super convenient at that time.
Yeah, and
Right?
we're still riding a wave of excitement that
Yeah.
that big marker went down finally.
Right. Big marker, world changes are happening,
Uh-huh.
things are moving, which is great.
Thank goodness.
Mhm.
So now we can do what we were going to do last week.
Yes, we're going to get into
Yep.
a few specific
Mhm.
medical procedures that potentially have some dark history behind them.
Yeah.
And we want to see what those where the history came from,
Mhm.
if it's demonic, if it's not, if it's just not good medical stuff to do, or if it's good
Exactly.
still, if it still has clout. I
Yeah.
don't know. We're going to take a look. We're going to deep dive into it.
Yeah. So let's run down the list here.
Okay, so mainly what we've noticed is there's a lot of stuff that's female related.
Mhm.
So we're going to look into the hysterectomies, the mammograms, and the pap smears. And of course, they
Mhm.
all have preventative history. And we're not saying like, you have to stop doing these,
Yeah.
even if it comes up that it's barbaric. Do what you feel is right and fair with your medical body,
Mhm.
right? You're a free will human, right?
Yeah.
But we want to see where these come from because they seem a little excessive and mainly female based,
Mhm.
right?
In particular, I find hysterectomies are
Mhm.
often kind of pushed on women who could otherwise maybe wouldn't need an entire hysterectomy.
Right?
Mhm.
There's no alternative health care for, quite a significant female part, which is
Mhm.
fascinating, right?
Mammograms, interesting, hey?
Literally, have always had the yucks about them. Of course, they're pain inducing, but there's so
Yeah.
many different ways to go about it
Uh-huh.
now, and they still push them, which
Yeah.
is fascinating.
They're just barbaric and old school.
Seriously barbaric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is there a reason? Is that a humiliation for women? Is that like, especially when you got big girls like we do?
Right? It's the last thing I
It's like,
want
are
to
you kidding
do.
me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think anybody with any kind of breasts trying to squish into those things,
Yeah.
gotta be.
It can't be good.
It's not comfortable.
No.
It's just not comfortable. So pap smears.
Pap smears and
Mhm.
yeah, because they push them like yearly.
Mhm.
They're quite invasive. And I
Mhm.
know, of course, female health is really important to everybody
Uh-huh.
who has female parts.
Yeah.
So taking care of them is key, but there's so many different ways to make sure that
You're healthy.
you're healthy in
Mhm.
that area other than probing it constantly.
Uh-huh.
Right?
And we know that the medical system is suspect.
It is suspect. So
Yeah.
we want to see if these still have clout.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because healers I believe in healers. They're coming after the healers though.
They
Have you
are
noticed?
alternative healers. Anybody working it outside of the
Mhm.
traditional medical field, they're attacking
Yeah.
them, and they've been attacking them for centuries.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm. So
The circumcisions
of
females and males.
Yeah.
Right, which has been happening for centuries all over the world in
Yeah.
different cultures.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we want to see where
Mhm.
those come from, if they still have clout today, and where of course, the original
Yeah.
origins
Origins of them. Because I mean, obviously you're going to hear different things,
Mhm.
and you made different choices throughout your life to have that done to your children and or to yourself or whatever.
Yeah.
We're not saying you did anything wrong. We're
No.
just looking into if there is a demonic base to it,
Right.
a cabal base to it,
Mhm.
originally when they came up with these things,
Right.
right? If there is, it doesn't mean if you had one of those procedures, you did anything wrong, because
No.
we've had some of these things. You know what I mean?
Right. We all know
Yeah.
somebody who's been affected by it. Right. All these things that
Yeah.
we're doing today.
Because
Right.
this is what they've been doing to humans since
Mhm.
the beginning, of supposed
Modern
medicine, right? And
Right.
and some of these go back way beyond modern medicine, like
Mhm.
some of these practices are ancient,
Mhm.
apparently, right? If we believe history.
Yep.
And that's another thing.
That's
We don't
another
believe
thing.
history.
Right.
So this is all very fascinating. Wisdom teeth,
Right.
tonsils.
Wisdom teeth and tonsils, right? Tonsils, getting your tonsillectomy, it
Mhm.
seems to be a big thing, whereas that's like, why don't we need these body parts? Like, they're in
Yeah.
us,
Yeah.
right? And it seems like people who get tonsillectomies or get their adenoids
Yeah.
out end up with more health issues afterwards, which is
Uh-huh.
fascinating,
Very interesting. Like, why do
Right.
they think they just gotta lop something off,
right? Instead of fixing it.
healing it?
Yeah.
Or what creates tonsillitis in the first place,
Hmm.
right? Like it could even be something they're putting in the water, something they're doing with the food. We don't know,
Yeah.
right? Like things have been done to us. So we don't know if this is just a way to sort of trigger these things.
Hmm.
And
Or
then it leads to them taking things out of you.
right. And of course,
Uh-huh.
with like wisdom teeth,
Mhm.
right? And I do know a lot of people have had pain with their wisdom teeth
Yeah.
taken out. Of course, I get it. But let's see where that comes from. Why
Yeah.
are we taking out our teeth? And why
Yeah.
do they call them wisdom teeth?
Wisdom teeth, and those are the ones they're taking out.
Right?
Very interesting.
Interesting.
Very telling, in my opinion. And gallbladder.
Yeah, the gallbladder, because it's a very common surgery for people to get done.
Mhm.
But I know in the etheric world, so you have your energetic body, your gallbladder holds your joy center,
Wow.
right? And it's
Yeah.
one of the easiest organs that they'll just remove. Like they won't remove literally anything else. They'll try to avoid it at all costs, but in your 20s, they'll take it right out,
Yeah. So that's
weird.
really weird. Yeah.
Right?
That's got to be weird.
So we just kind of want to deep dive.
Yeah, we're going to deep dive on these things. Let's start with these feminine ones here that are very invasive, in particular to our sexual organs,
Okay.
right? So hysterectomy
Okay.
and
Pap smear?
pap
Do you
smear.
want to put them together?
Yeah, let's put them
Let's put
together
them together. Okay.
and see if there's either one of them or both of them are something demonic to it.
Okay.
Right.
Let's take a look.
Right away. Right away. So we've got
Suspicion.
7 of Swords, which is all about strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a falsehood kind of a card, or telling lies, fibs, tales, or you've been fooled somehow.
Yeah.
There's some kind of foolery around, especially when it's badly aspected, which it is. So it's an absolute yes, there's demonic purpose to hysterectomy.
Background.
Yeah,
and
background. Yeah.
female procedures.
Taking away the independence of women somehow.
Yeah,
Well, also taking away their feminine body parts.
this
that
is true.
really defines them as female.
Yep.
You know, there's likely ways to heal those body parts. And often, I believe cancers were created by the cabal, the demonics.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, often they're taking it out to prevent or for preventative things.
Mhm.
But I think the things they're trying to prevent are things they created in the first place.
This is true.
Is that so? They strategically created things. So then the medical system tells you have to have it out.
Yeah.
Takes away your sovereignty and independence as a woman. Also your ability, obviously, to birth children or create children. But
Create life.
but also like a hormonal imbalance. It creates a hormonal
Mhm.
imbalance with women, and
And then you're
often have
stuck
to-
on other things,
Yeah.
supplements,
some kind of
taking care of
supplements and drugs.
other issues after that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. All kinds of things, right?
Very
Energetically. So it's absolutely like we got all kinds of yeses, and it's detrimental.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it does look like comes with a lot of falsehood,
yeah,
false information around it,
sure
which
does.
is upsetting, but
Yeah.
I knew it.
I knew it too. That
I
just
knew
the
it.
whole idea of taking all those body parts
Well,
out of
they're
a
picking
woman.
on women at this point.
Wow.
right?
We know that that bunch really doesn't like femininity
Nope.
and any kind of the energy that goes along with that. So
Mhm.
of course they're trying to repress it. And that's a way that they do it.
Right?
So
The mammogram.
mammogram.
Let's do that quick.
Mhm. That's interesting. Yeah. It's
The one that I've always thought this one is barbaric.
yeah, there's something
Always.
funny.
Oh
about it.
my God.
There's got to be different ways they can do that, right?
There are.
You know, if
there
they're
are.
checking for things that they created in the first place, by the way, I just want to add that part, right? Because I think we're going to find out all cancers are literally created by this bunch.
This bunch.
Mhm. Another yes, we got a demonic practice. Oh,
Oh my
my
God.
goodness. We got
Wow.
the same,
Okay.
not in the same placement, but the same cards. Or this one's in the same placement. So they've been lying to us. They've been lying to us about it. Yeah, there's so many other different ways they could do that.
Yeah, they
Absolutely.
are, and they haven't, it's kind of like
Yeah.
cancer treatments, right? There's other ways to get around it and they just won't talk about it.
Uh-huh. Wow. But also like, even the thing itself,
Yeah,
the thing itself.
the procedure.
I wonder if it's a way to capitulate women or get them under their thumb somehow, or a feeling of repression. I feel
Could
like,
be.
yeah.
Well, because it can be good for the tissue, right? And then it changes your aesthetic, does it
Mhm.
not? I
But,
haven't.
but
I've
also
looked at it.
getting it done feels really yucky,
Yeah,
and it's disempowering.
well, and it's very like, you're out in the open, right? So you're being quite exposed.
Yeah, it's really disempowering is what I'm thinking. Looking
Mhm.
at these cards,
Yeah,
it feels like it's literally just to upset the balance of the feminine. Yeah.
lame.
I think all of these things, so going forward with that hermit there, I think all of these things, there's gonna be different ways to do and or ways around any of
Checking
these
in,
procedures.
not
that
as
so far that
aggressive.
we've looked.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's that, like already our future selves say they got solutions for all of this.
which is nice. That's good to see that hermit there.
Yeah, it's really good. Okay, so that's another one.
Okay,
That makes 3 of them.
so do we want to split up these two into the circumcision of the boys and circumcision of
Yeah,
the girls?
we
Okay,
better.
so let's do the boys first,
Okay, because that's interesting, right? Like the reasons that they say they do it
right?
are
Well,
cleanliness
And religious and
Yeah,
I don't know, there's lots of weird
Yeah.
phobias around it. And
Uh-huh.
I know for females that they prevent it from, they want to keep them clean
uh-huh. So
before
they-
marriage and stuff like that. So
Oh,
it's
no,
very,
it's sexual too for women.
well, it's
You're
definitely
taking
sexual.
away
Your sexual independence and your
ability
pleasure.
to have pleasure there.
Yeah.
Yeah, for women, but for men, and I guess men would have to tell us this and how they're feeling about this, but some men have reported that it's actually better for them in that department,
Yeah.
pleasurably. And other people have said, no,
That
they're
it-
more sensitive
Yeah.
with all the parts, you know what
Or
I mean?
less sensitive. And actually
Mhm.
I've heard about like people having really bad reactions.
Oh, yeah,
Or
like it's
growth
barbaric
issues.
when you think
Yeah,
about it.
come on,
It's
they're babies.
unbelievable taking a tiny, and have you ever seen it done? They literally stick their little part up in the air on a bit of a board.
Yeah, they're strapped down.
It's horrifying. It's absolutely barbaric. It's gotta be.
It's got to be deep state.
Yeah, but we're starting with the boys. So
Yes.
we'll start with the boys. So far looks totally unnecessary.
Yeah, with the chariot.
It's completely unnecessary. Everything you were born with.
Oh my God.
So it's about pleasure, it looks like. It's about pleasure.
Mhm.
And it could have something to do with the hurt.
Yeah, the humiliation is what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's interesting. Yeah, it's largely not being done nearly as much as it used to be.
Well, I know a lot of people have opted out of it
Mhm.
with their kids,
Yeah,
right? Which is
like it
great.
was a given. My dad, okay, tells a story about all of a sudden somebody got a hold of my grandmother's ear
Mhm.
and gave her heck apparently about not having done this with her boys. So she got talked into doing this, and my dad had to have it done when he was 8 or 9.
Oof.
Like, and I know that happens in different cultures, older like that too,
Mhm.
but 8 or 9 is like, so when you're an infant, like, of course it's traumatizing, but it's got to be way worse when you're already 8 or
Much more
9.
sensitive and trying to get that thing to heal.
Yeah, and
It's gonna be
it
hard, especially as
apparently
an-
caused a lot of trouble in his youth.
Yeah.
So you can just imagine, yeah,
Mm-mm,
how
not cool.
horrifying that is. But yeah, it definitely looks like it's completely unnecessary. So it's literally just, and it could even be one form of sort of like preparing for adrenochrome collecting in a way, because this feels like the party substance here.
Mhm, right.
And the 2 of Wands. So it's almost like a little nod to that kind of torture.
This is, yeah, that's kind of what it feels like.
With that 10
So that's where
underneath.
it
So
originated.
yeah, it originated absolutely with something torturous.
Not so good.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's completely unnecessary. So if anybody tries to tell you it's necessary, that's
Well, I'm
absurd.
sure there are in cases where things aren't developing properly, there are certain things that
It's
can
got to
happen.
be very rare though.
right,
think
but
about it
it
like
doesn't,
that. They
it doesn't
literally,
need
that's
to
part
be
of their
done,
body.
right?
right?
Unless it's, you know, you're having a weird issue growing up,
Yeah.
but not as a baby. Come on.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. So let's look at women.
The women, the
Yeah,
girls.
the
Okay.
girls one, because that's horrifying. Just even thinking about it's horrifying. And it, in a lot of cultures, when it is being done,
Mhm.
it's actually being done just once they start menstruating. Isn't that true?
Mhm.
And so it's completely about shutting them down for their own pleasure. Like it's really, they can't explain it any other way.
Yeah.
And it's often done because it's frowned upon by even the medical system.
Yeah.
Generally frowns upon it, of late at least,
Mhm.
even in these places that they do this. Okay, it's apparently done by other women. Okay, women to women again.
In like,
So women repressing women in a tent or something.
in not a medical setting,
And not a medical
by
setting.
not necessarily
Yeah.
a medical doctor.
With like a piece of glass or some kind of metal. And yeah, it's
Yeah.
horrifying to think about.
Yeah.
What's being done with these girls. Okay, but let's have a look. So if you don't know what we're talking about in the girl department, look up female
Circumcision.
circumcision. And
And-
you'll come to all kinds of things that we can't even say.
Yeah, information,
Yeah.
use your discretion.
Mhm. Yeah, mothers doing it to their own children or having it, like giving the nod to have it done. So it's like this continuation of repression from women to women.
Ooh.
Interesting. So it's mostly about trauma.
Yeah, and with that 9 underneath,
Yeah.
I don't like that.
So even connecting that body part to trauma and pain.
Yep.
Instead of pleasure,
Mhm.
trauma and pain. So inducing trauma and pain to what would otherwise be the pleasure point.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, to minimize things.
Yep.
Also to keep them more childlike. Well, isn't that interesting?
Ooh, touche.
Right? Because
Ugh.
if you think about a full-grown woman, and we're talking about a demonic cult that isn't natural in their sexuality. So a full-grown woman and the way she would be intimately with someone,
Mhm.
okay, wouldn't be as appealing as 12 and under.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to keep it because a 12 and under and well, youthful person.
Mhm.
So even 14, even 17 and under, you know what I mean? What that not a mature woman, let's
Not-
say.
yeah.
Not a mature, even a mature young woman, okay, who's not doing something with somebody. So what I'm getting at here is they're trying to induce pain again around the act of sexuality.
Yeah.
Instead of pleasure.
Mhm.
And try to make it traumatizing, which is more interesting if you're a demonic.
Mhm.
Okay.
Right.
So in keeping it like as if you were doing something and hurting a child.
To something younger.
Yeah.
Woo.
Right.
Yeah, once
Yeah.
again.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So all about the love of 12s and unders, you know, that word that starts with a P
Mm,
that
we can't say,
we can't say, but
it's not a good thing.
the entire royal family has been being called out on that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we'll
Okay.
just say it that way. So wow.
Wow.
Woo. That was really obvious.
Yep. All right.
Okay.
Tonsils?
Tonsils.
Let's take a look.
Tonsils. Because that is strange. Like
It's just a strange one. It's just strange.
yeah.
Right? Just look into it.
I wonder if there's something the demonics have against tonsils.
It's probably got a etheric association that's really strong. Who knows? I don't know that one.
Mhm. If anybody has this, you know, an idea, put it in the comments.
Yeah. Huh.
It feels to be traumatized. So there's a trauma, but we're moving past it with the Alliance and the White Hats are changing things. So it just really, in the past, it was really about creating trauma.
Okay. Right.
Taking parts away from you.
Right.
Interesting. Yeah, hardship. trauma,
It
hardship,
probably,
shocking.
because I know tonsils, they do filter out lots of bacteria, comes through the mouth, right? So it would help with your immune system. So it's part of, I think it's your easily
Ooh,
accessible
Putting
immune system.
something in like where it's pushing it, because this card pushes it. So it would push the body to work harder
Mhm.
to keep things
Healthy.
clear and healthy.
Interesting.
Yeah, so they're actually trying to bust up the natural boundary there, because that could be a boundary card.
Right? That's why I was like, there's something else going on here.
Okay, good. Thanks. Thanks, Ashley. Okay, so we've got that Queen of Swords. So completely like there's so many ways around doing it.
Right. There's gonna be definitely different ways of, and I don't know even, well, I think they still do tonsillectomies and they still do stuff like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Right? But
Oh,
it
yeah,
definitely
they
looks
do.
like there's different ways around it.
Yeah.
That are way easier.
Yeah. So
But they've been kept under wraps for sure.
exactly.
Lied about.
So the first, I think on the other side of this big war we're in,
Mhm.
right? Which we're hoping is really soon.
Oh yeah.
At least
It
when
looks
the
like it's
dust
really soon.
settles a little, there's going to be a lot of tidying up to do, of course.
Oh, for sure.
I feel like we're going to really understand what even creates the problem in the first place. Now it's been created, not necessarily just naturally occurring, not nearly as often anyway. I'm sure some of these things naturally occur where there's an issue and you have to deal with it. But
Right.
I feel like it's probably really rare and they're making it a common thing.
Or it's easier to take care of than just
Mhm.
going in for a surgery and a procedure.
Yeah.
Right?
Let's just
different
lop it off.
ways of taking care of things.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So wisdom teeth. Is that the
Yeah,
next
let's
one?
look.
Yeah.
Those have gotta have something.
Yeah, that's just weird. Like, come on. And I wonder what even triggers them to be painful.
Well,
I
oh,
wonder
come
if
in
there's
late.
something going on there.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's have a look.
There's something we're missing probably.
Yeah, out of our diet maybe.
Yeah.
Right. Oh yeah, this has been demonically created. The whole
Right.
wisdom teeth have to come out thing. Demonically created, and it has something to do with what's in our water and how they've been manipulating the sunlight.
So it's probably like, well, developing differently.
Mhm. Yeah,
Judgment.
so it's actually repressing or creating
Mhm.
the issue that otherwise wouldn't be an issue with them.
Mhm.
Wow. Because the judgment's in the middle, so it's
Right?
causing a big problem.
It's causing a big, I would say like almost like a mix up. 'Cause the
Mixing
judge-
up the
it-
body signals.
Yeah. Because there are a lot of nerve endings in your
Mhm.
face, in your jaw
Yeah.
specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Definitely demonically created.
Right?
Yeah.
Seen that.
The whole wisdom teeth thing. Yeah, that's also going to stop, it says. That's also going to
That's
stop.
kinda
The
nice.
need for that is going to stop. And it
Yeah.
does. It's something they're putting in the water or have for a long time, but also how they manipulated the sunlight.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. And I've had my wisdom teeth taken out too. So
Myself
that's,
as well.
and I wanted, like, these are things I wanted to know, right?
Mhm.
So that's interesting. Okay.
Wow. That
Alright.
was the most demonic so far. if
Right,
you
which
could
is
imagine.
interesting,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, with that
Huh.
devil there in the past. So they really want, so the wisdom teeth, if they stayed, I wonder if that connects to utilizing more of our DNA or
Right?
more of our superpowers. As
Maybe
we've
it
been
actually
calling them.
brings in your wisdom.
Yeah, right.
Right?
And that's right in front of your face by calling it the wisdom teeth.
Yeah.
Oh, got to get those out.
Interesting.
Yeah, I always wondered about that.
And the gallbladder.
Appendix.
Do you want to do gallbladder instead?
Okay, let's do gallbladder.
Yeah. It's got to have more exciting something info in it.
Okay. Already it looks like everything's could be avoided for the most
Yeah.
part. Like this just makes
They're
sense.
just messing with us as
Mhm.
usual.
Yeah. But the gallbladder's really interesting, being the joy center, as you said.
Right.
Just to be pissy,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just to mess with you,
Yeah.
just to give you less joy. That's pretty simple. again, these cards across look like it's been done away with. So whatever was causing upheaval and creating the need to, or what at least the medical system says, this, now you need your gallbladder out.
Mhm.
Okay, I feel like that's already, we've already crossed over where that doesn't need to be part of our culture anymore.
Yeah, because I know they're not doing them as often, but
Mhm.
I still know people who have had them.
So yes. That just feels like things will get way better there. And this wasn't necessarily like a big demonic ritual, but it
No,
was
it
more
doesn't
like
look as
just
bad as
want
the
to
other
mess
ones.
with you.
Yeah,
You just want to mess with you.
play around with your insides.
Yeah. And take away, something that could create more joy.
Yeah.
And if anybody has had their gallbladder out and they want to tell us their experience or share experiences
Mhm.
with us with any of these things, it'd be really cool to see in the comments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wow.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for
We'll
watching.
see you next week.